Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson, and we've been joined by none other than Harlan Charles. Harlan, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back. It's been a while, and hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
But a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah.
We're fine. We, of course, are rather envious of what you're doing right now.
Yes.
And, well, I'm just angry. No, I'm just depressed.
Well,
I want to play with the toys.
Yeah. Let's talk about this toy, Harlan, because you put the world on notice this week, you personally, about the Z06 Corvette. We've seen this vehicle running around, of course, in camouflage, but now it's real, and it is incredible. 670 horsepower that's naturally aspirated, basically a race car engine, the LT6 double overhead cam V8 in there. What was it like to develop this engine? I mean, this typically doesn't happen where you build an engine just for one specific model of a specific vehicle. It's typically spread out across the lineup, but what was it like to develop that engine just for the Z06?
Well, that's an excellent point, because you're right. We've had versions of engines, obviously, for Corvette, but this is an all-new engine. And for the first time, we actually raced the engine. You know, we're one race away from back-to-back championships on the IMSA GTLM class with the new Corvette C8R, running 2 years now with this engine proven on the racetrack. And now the street car version is very close to the race version, just a higher, actually, due to the rules and everything, we actually have more horsepower and a higher red line, 8,600. And this is the highest naturally aspirated V8 horsepower ever.
Wow.
And it's unique to the Corvette Z06.
It is, I don't know where to start.
670, if we didn't say it already, 670 horsepower.
Which is, let's say, not as much as it ultimately is going to have over the next few years. I'm guessing. I know you won't say anything, but you know, the standard C8 Corvette is just a road burner.
Right.
This thing just has to be pure excitement on four wheels. And
yeah, absolutely, excitement. I mean, that's what this is about. This car is really, you know, we know the future will be here soon enough, but this is really a celebration of internal combustion. This represents, you know, a peak of technology in engines, and we wanted to really make a special car for people that love sports cars, love to drive, and can really enjoy, you know, having that race car technology, the performance technology in a street car that you can drive every day. So the engine, the sounds, we designed an all new exhaust system for it, the center mount exhaust. And a lot of that is done not just for performance, but we wanted people to experience the beautiful sound inside and out. And it's a lot of part of the fun of the driving experience is the sound when you hit the paddles and you shift the car, the pops and the gurgles you hear, and all the fun that it has when you're driving a fun road. Really makes it. And the car doesn't lose anything compared to the Stingray as far as the ability to be a great road car as well. We have the same, you know, the great cargo space for a mid-engine sports car with the two trunks. And you could drive this car every day as your work car, errand car, and then take it to the track on the weekend and set a track record.
I wanted to ask about the exhaust, because the exhaust looks very much, that's how everyone was clued into this. They saw, well, that looks like a Stingray with camouflage on it, but they saw that exhaust, which is very much like the exhaust C5, C6, C7. And was you just had to go back to that for kind of the plumbing of the vehicle, but, you know, plumbing of the exhaust? Is that why? Or
Well, originally, we were going to use an exhaust similar to the Stingray, and it was good. Don't it was we liked it, but we thought we could do better, and especially as far as being able to experience it from inside the car. So the tips actually act like a reverse megaphone and reflect the sound back into the car so that you can hear, the real sound from the engine inside the car. And we thought this really took it over the top, where the sound matched the performance of the engine, and really created the sound that we were looking for. So you're right. We actually it was a late add to the program. In a weird way, some of the delays because of everything going on, it gave us a little bit more time to execute it, but it's a benefit to the car to have it.
I can't help but notice, aside from the biggest horsepower, naturally aspirated, the tires.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the rear tire there, and it's about the size of my refrigerator. So clearly, you need an enormous amount of rubber to to maintain traction with that kind of power, and clearly that kind of handling. What were the limitations?
Well, like you said, these are the largest wheels and tires we've ever had on Corvette. We grew the diameter, first of all, on the wheels. We have now an inch bigger than Stingray, 20 in the front, 21 in the rear. And the width of the tires grew 30 millimeters in the front, 40 in the rear.
Wow.
So we have a 345, 25, 21 rear tire, and it's a 21 by 13 inch wheel.
Wow.
And actually, these are the widest. We have the carbon fiber wheels available with our Z07 performance package. And those are working with the carbon fiber wheel, Carbon Revolution. That's the widest carbon fiber wheels they've ever done.
Those are the Australian guys, I believe, aren't they? Carbon Fiber Revolution.
Yeah.
Aren't they down in Australia?
Yeah, and it's a specific wheel that was designed for this car uniquely.
Wow. Well, the other thing we got to remember is the red line of this vehicle, and I have to wonder the engineering that went into it to obviously in the race world, as they say, if you're not breaking stuff, you're not trying hard enough, but you can't say that when you have to put a warranty on this. So what was that like to test this engine at those astronomical RPM levels and make it live and be able to have a warranty put on it?
Yeah, that was our goal, to have an 8500. Actually ended up being 8600 red line, and then the flat plane crank part of it, which enables that high red line, and a 5.5 liter engine, which is not large in the Corvette world, but is large for a flat plane crank dual overhead cam engine. So the powertrain engineers, I don't know if you saw the video with Dustin Gardner. I mean, they went through everything. The tolerances and the manufacturing had to be upgraded to get this, precise machining for all the parts. So we have, titanium connecting rods and forged pistons, and everything is state of the art. And eventually we will offer, as you remember in the past, we've had the program at the Bowling Green Performance Build Center at our factory where you can build your own engine.
Right.
We'll have that. And that would be the ultimate way to see all the technology that went into this car. Each part is like a work of art, really.
Wow. Now, if people don't understand what a dual plane,
flat plane
is, explain it for them.
Yeah, most engines have a cross plane crank. So if you're looking at the crankshaft from the front of the car, you'd be, like this. This crankshaft is flat, so it lays, would lay flat on a table, for example. And the benefits of that, because of the way the pistons fire, you can get a much higher RPM. The reasons most people do the cross plane. It's a little bit better balanced. It's less vibrations. It's quieter. But if you're looking for the ultimate horsepower and RPM for a not naturally aspirated engine, the flat plane is the way to go. And with the sound of the engine, if you again, it's supposed to give you that race car sound, race car technology. Then you experience that. I mean, you wouldn't do, say, a cross plane crank for the ultimate luxury car, but for the ultimate sports car, absolutely. Yeah. That's part of the enjoyment of it.
Well, we're going to take a break. Stick with us, Harlan. Plenty more coming up with Harlan. We could probably talk to you for 2 or 3 hours, but we don't have that. But we will be right back with more Cruise Control, so stay tuned, and we're going to take some questions during the break. Okay, Harlan, let's try some questions here. And these come from a lot of different people around the web. Okay, this comes from a guy named Iker. Does the new Z06 use the same gear ratio as the Stingray? If yes, do you think the high-speed acceleration will be affected by the very long fifth gear?
Yeah, so the gear ratios are the same as the Stingray, but it does have a quicker or a higher numerical final drive ratio.
Okay.
Yep. So like a 288 or 30?
No, they're like in the 5. So the actual.
That's right, because you have overdrive gears. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So for example, the Stingray with the Z51, which is the highest performance, Stingray has a 5.17 final drive. This has a 5.56.
All right.
Okay.
But the ratios 1-8 are the same.
Okay, here's one from someone named Shadow. What color is the stealth aluminum interior trim package, and what pieces will come in that color?
That's a great question. So this is a new option for 23 model year. And originally we thought it would be nice for it to go with the carbon fiber, but anybody that wants it, as you know, we have this really nice bright aluminum trim in the Corvettes in the 2LT, 3LT, and this will be 2LZ, 3LZ, in those higher trim levels. And it's the speakers, it's the AC outlets, and it's the trim around the driver mode control. A lot of the bright aluminum. What this does is it's still aluminum, but it darkens it down. It's very dark, subdued, like a not quite black, but very close to like a black chrome look.
Sort of.
And it just gives the car a different look inside. If you want to emphasize more the carbon than the aluminum, it's a good option to have. Or if you just don't want it as shiny, we think that'll be a nice option for some people.
And we're going to be back to the live show here pretty soon, but let's get a quick one in from John, who is the leader of the Mid-Engine Corvette Forum. He asks about, will this new Z06 come with the early oil change requirement as the C7 Z06 engine did? And lastly, what are the maintenance requirements for this new engine?
The maintenance requirements will be very similar to the Stingray. No early oil changes required. The main difference is if you are taking it to the track, you do not have to add any additional transmission fluid as you do on the Stingray for this one. And the oil is a heavier weight oil, but the change intervals will be the same.
All right.
So very reasonable maintenance for an exotic car like this.
All right. We'll take a couple of more questions on the next break, but we're going to be back with Harlan here live, so we will get ready for that. Stay tuned. Harlan Charles, more coming up. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget, we're here every week at this time. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that and more. We welcome all our listeners and viewers wherever you're getting the show. We've been talking with Harlan Charles, who is the Corvette marketing manager, also Camaro marketing manager, too, we should say that. And we're talking about this incredible vehicle that was released, and we knew it was coming, the Z06 Corvette, the biggest tires, the most horsepower. It's the mostest. It's the Corvette with the mostest, Harlan.
You should be in marketing yourself.
I'll tell you what, and don't take this the wrong way, but I like the thing I like about this Z06. It's a little less, it's a little more understated than the C7 Z06, which had a lot of, I think, had a lot going on in the bodywork. Especially, you have two different wing options, right? One is a huge wing that has a lot going on. The other is a very subdued wing.
Yeah, that's a good point. There really are different personas even within the Z06. You know, the cars we've shown, if you've seen them, we have both shown the standard aero package and the carbon fiber aero package, which comes with the Z07 performance package. But the standard wing is, it's very refined, like you said, but it's pretty neutral on lift, but it does come with, all these cars come with, if you do want to take it to the track, it comes with a wicker that you can add, and there's a removable panel in the front that powers the front splitter. That'll give it 362 pounds of downforce.
Wow.
And then if you upgrade to the aero with the higher wing and the larger splitter, when the dive planes, there's also strakes underneath the car, really race car technology. That gets it up to 734 pounds of downforce at 186 miles an hour, which will be the highest downforce we've ever had at that speed, even higher than the previous ZR1, which had the high wing available.
Wow.
So we were able to do that with less drag also. So it's kind of a win to have lower downforce and lower drag in the same car. And so we've really done a lot to refine the aerodynamics in the car. And yeah, we really want to compete with the best in the world. So it's a supercar, but it's also a car that you can, again, take to dinner, take anywhere, and take to the track, take to the street. It really has a multi-purpose use to it.
I like less how he called it an errand car. It's you're little. I'm going to the post office, and then I think I'll get some hamburgers. So
it's really, we wanted to take all the things people would want in an exotic supercar, but none of the things they wouldn't want in it. So, none of the negatives. A lot of these cars, these high-strung, very expensive cars can be fun for a little while, but they're not something you would want to drive all the time. The key to the Z06, we wanted the best of both, all the performance and fun of those cars and the ability that Corvettes have had to be, you said errand cars, or it could be a road trip car, a car you could drive across country,
right,
and just have fun with.
Hypothetically asking here, if Fred and I got into that one right behind you there, Harlan, and decided to take it just as fast as it would go, I can assume that we're going to crack the 200 barrier there?
That's a top speed question.
That would be a top speed question, depending on wings.
We have a lot of the performance specs already. The top speed is usually one of the last ones we do. We don't have the final number for that one yet.
Do you get to do the testing?
Very high.
That's what I wondered. Who gets to do the top speed testing, Harlan?
Yeah.
Who gets to do probably the bravest one of all of us? We kind of draw straws and just no, we have our Milford program development engineers. They do a lot of the testing on track, both on the race tracks, on the drag strips, and the top speeds. And we do that all in-house. So
yeah,
the key is usually there's a track out in Europe that you can get a little bit better results that they like to go to than our loop at Milford Proving Grounds here in Michigan. So I think they're waiting to do that.
Is there going to be a visit to the Nürburgring for this in the?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've
been already. We were able to do a lot of development. As you know, sometimes it's difficult to get time without traffic when they do they have the industry days with all the other
right
on there. So they're planning on going back probably next year to do some more, and maybe even get a lap time.
You know, it's interesting. I wanted to tell that story. I remember walking in Columbus Circle, and this guy in New York City, this guy had a Lambo there with this ridiculous cam profile. And I thought, why would you want to drive that around? I was sitting there idling, and it was like, you know. And here's your point. Has always been a point about the Z06 or any Corvette. It's a car you can use every day, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We did our let's see, the week before the reveal. Probably the nice thing about the reveal, we can take all the camouflage off the car. But probably our last ride with the camouflage on the car, we did a 2-day ride over fun roads. There's actually, people may not know it, in Southeast Ohio has some really fun roads that are within a day's from where we are. Because we can't always get out to Pacific Coast Highway and Tail of the Dragon and things like that. But yeah, it was a great car to drive on the street. We've done a lot of the track testing, obviously, but we want to get our final calibrations in for street driving and the way that a lot of people will be using the car.
What is it like when you're on one of those drives? You're a very personable guy. People come up to you. Some people probably notice you and recognize you. And what do you say when they walk up and say, "Oh, look at this camouflage Corvette. What's going on here?" How do you handle that?
Well, it's fun really to, we have to, some people get nervous about it. I think it's people are just interested. We get it. People want to know. I'd be this, if it was the other way around, I'd be the one that wanted to know everything about it too. I mean, this is really a dream job, and it's an honor really to get to do this. And it's the fun part of our job, it's a hard part of the job, but it's a fun part of the job, getting to evaluate these cars early and experience it. So, obviously we if there's things we can't talk about, just to say sorry, you'll have to wait and see what's going on. But obviously we try to be nice to everybody and talk to them and and thank everyone for being Corvette enthusiasts. I mean, that's what really makes this car exciting. It's like the movie star or the athlete that everybody wants to know about. The Corvette is that in the sports car world and the automotive world in general. It's the car, anybody can get a chance to get a sneak peek or a picture or want to see what's going on with Corvette. It's an honor to be that one, a part of American culture.
Would you even tell them it's a Z06? Could you tell them that? And or would you say it's just it's another model of Corvette?
No, well, it depends when it is. Before we announced that there was a Z06, obviously you wouldn't really say anything.
Right.
Like that. Just say, hey, we're just evaluating future things. Stay tuned. After we announced the Z06 was coming, then it was kind of obvious. Yeah, we're doing. We just say, hey, we're doing our final calibrations, trying to make the car perfect.
Real quick, where should people go to get info on the Z06?
Go to Chevy.com/Z06.
All right.
And it's Z06.
That's easy.
All right. We're going to have some after show questions with Harlan, so stay tuned. All right, Harlan, a couple of more questions before you go, if you're up for it.
Sure.
Keith Cornett, also from a mid-engine Corvette forum, asks, is the visible carbon fiber steering wheel part of the Level 2 carbon fiber package, or is it additional? If additional, could, however, one just order the carbon fiber steering wheel by itself? These things are popular. I know there's some aftermarket ones too. But what do you think about that question?
Okay, so the Z06, we have a new carbon fiber rim steering wheel with carbon fiber pedals. And the way to get that, that is part of the 3LZ. We have 1, 2, and 3LZ, the 3 trim levels of Z06. So that will just come with the level 3 interior. That's all you have to do. You don't have to order it or anything. It comes with it.
And you can't get it separate, I guess the question is. You have to
Right,
go.
it's part of that 3LZ package.
Okay. Okay. This is another one. Is it correct to assume the new for 2023 colors will be first announced at next April's NCM Bash, and therefore the first orders for the Z06 will therefore follow the event? Okay, basically that's a question about when can he order a Z06.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually about when we do things. I think what we hope to do usually is at the Corvette Bash event is really the first opportunity for customers to come touch and feel the cars, sit in the cars, have them on display, other than just, a show car on a turntable, is usually what we like to do. We also would like to have whatever else is new for 2023 that we haven't discussed yet would be a good time for that to be revealed, if not sooner. But I think there'll always be some news that we save for that museum bash. It's one of our favorite events we do every year. And now that things are opening up, being able to go to these events. I was at the museum at Labor Day and did a presentation there. It's really a lot of fun to see all the Corvette enthusiasts again there at the Corvette Museum. So we're planning to do something special.
It's been a long year and a half.
Right.
Then there was a question here, and you have not released mileage on it. Someone asked, will it have the gas guzzler tax? I mean, you don't have mile per gallon ratings yet, so I would imagine you don't have that
to go
one
through the EPA testing.
And then another one asked, will you be going to 24/7 production of Corvettes to meet the demand? Well, at Bowling Green. That would be nice, but I don't think that's a possibility.
That'd be nice. The issue to meet the demand is not going 24/7. The issue is the supply of
chips,
parts, and things from, you have to have the parts to build with, obviously. And, a lot of the parts on Corvette are specific to Corvette, which makes it tricky. And again, it's been a tough year. Overall, I think we've done, compared to the competition, pretty well. Corvette has been getting priority in many ways, but there's always challenges, and we're doing the best we can to meet demand, obviously. I mean, everybody's been waiting, but when you have a car like this, even if we could do more, the demand is way higher than we could ever meet, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for us. It's a bad thing if you're the one waiting, obviously. I'd be impatient too. I want my car right now. So I ask everybody to be patient. It's worth the wait. And we're going to try to do the best we can.
I mean, I always said if you get bumped to the next year, it's disappointing, but you also get more features. The car improves tremendously every year. And so that's not the worst thing in the world either, is it?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Harlan, we appreciate it. Thanks again. I'm sure everyone appreciated you answering those questions, and we'll have to have you on again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always fun to talk to you two, and maybe we'll see you at Carlisle too this year.
Well, that would be fun.
We should be there.
Yeah. All right,
Back
Harlan.
in the real world, and be good to see you too.